What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we are going to discuss the New York Jets planning to interview Ron Rivera, and Rex Ryan shares the New York Jets' interest in talking with him. First, we will start with Ron Rivera, which is a name that everyone is going to be familiar with. He was the longtime coach of the Carolina Panthers. He also spent the past 4 seasons, excluding 2024, but from 2020 through 2023, coaching the Washington Commanders. And through his career as a head coach, he is 102, 103, and 2. As a head coach, he has not had a winning season since the 2017 season and has 3 winning seasons in 13 years as a head coach. Now, he did have a absolutely phenomenal 2015 team with the Carolina Panthers. They went 15-1, ended up losing in the Super Bowl. That was Cam Newton's MVP year. Ron Rivera won Coach of the Year that year. He also won Coach of the Year in 2013. So he's a 2-time Coach of the Year in 2013 and 2015. Unfortunately, pretty much since then, hasn't really had that same amount of success in either in Carolina or even in Washington. Either way, I don't think this is the move for the Jets. I'm not in on Ron Rivera being the head coach. Things went very poorly in his second stop with Washington, 26-40-1. He had a lot of roster control there. He was technically the GM his first year in 2020. And just made some really questionable decisions with the roster and in the NFL draft. I mean, just looking at, for instance, some players that I thought he misused over that time. Antonio Gibson was a running back that was never really used right. Landon Collins at safety I thought was misused. Emmanuel Forbes, who they spent a first-round pick on, was great in zone coverage. They end up drafting him and plucking him and putting him in man coverage, and it hasn't worked out. It's just a few bizarre things like that. And then while on the topic of first round picks, here were the 4 first round picks that were used when Ron Rivera was there: Chase Young, Jamin Davis, Jahan Dotson, and Emmanuel Forbes. All top 20 picks. Chase Young, second overall, is not on the team anymore. Whiff after whiff after whiff after whiff. Just really, really poor drafting. Really poor player development. Yes, was in a bad spot with poor ownership. Like that plays a factor in it too. But I just don't look at what he did in his second stop and after his last, very successful season in Carolina as him showing any signs of adjusting after that. So this is going to be a no from me. Also, the second part of this video that we have to get in on, friend of the show, Jake Asman, was hosting on ESPN Radio this morning and spoke to Rex Ryan, who told him that he is expecting to speak with the Jets after the season ends. Rex Ryan has been very vocal about his wish to come back and coach the New York Jets. I am not surprised that he is going to get an interview. Now, Rex Ryan did say at one point if he did get an interview, he would get the job because he would be able to convince Woody Johnson to hire him. I truly hope that's not what ends up happening here. I will reiterate, like I have every time I've spoken about Rex Ryan here on the channel, I love him for giving me my 2 favorite seasons as a Jets fan in 2009 and 2010. I think we are being a little short-sighted and selective with our memory because I think if we remember how 2011 ended, unfortunately, and then 2012 through 14, we would remember, maybe not as fondly as the first 2 years went for Rex. And again, love him for that. He was great for what this team needed what the team needed at the time. I don't trust him in the roster construction at all. I don't like when he gets his hands on the roster. I think that was the beginning of the downfall of the Jets of that era. I worry if his defense would be the same impact 15 years later. I think his game was really built for a specific era of the NFL in the 2000s. And as the 2010s went on, if you look at his stop, the tail end of his time with the Jets and into his stop with the Buffalo Bills, defense wasn't really all that phenomenal. Always questionable offensive decisions. They had a great run game, but never was really to develop an offense in really either spot. I don't know. I appreciate Rex. He will hold a special place in my heart as a Jets fan. I just feel like that's going backwards. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go a new direction here. And I don't think Rex Ryan or Ron Rivera really do that for me. That feels like you're trying to go back 10 years, trying to do what was working in the NFL 10, 15 years ago instead of the direction that the NFL is currently going. I would like to hire a coach who has had a little bit more success in the last, we'll call it 4 or 5 years in the league than 10 plus years in the league. And that's what you'd be getting with Ron Rivera or Rex Ryan. You can never question Rex's passion for the job. He would love to be the Jets head coach. He is very prideful about the Jets, which is something I appreciate. Again, I don't want this to come across like I hate Rex Ryan. I'm trying to put him down. I'm not. I appreciate Rex, and I love how much he loves being a New York Jet. I think the Jets can do better than rehiring one of the coaches that they fired, and the GM leading the search now for the Jets being the GM that was paired with Rex that got fired in 2012. I just don't want that to be the end result. Guys, let me know what you think on both down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.